Hi, I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot, and welcome to the Halloween special. I know, it's daylight. I'm sitting here, and the only thing that kind of Halloweeny is my black t-shirt, which I always wear for videos. The reason is that I have actually done a video, a really cool video. I took all my esoteric stuff and all my Halloweeny spooky stuff, and I set this bookshelf up, and I put candles and everything. And last night we did my fiance and I did the whole Halloween thing, and we had Halloween music, and we had the candles, and it was dark. And then when I came to edit it this morning, first of all, the lighting was so shut you could barely see me. And secondly, you couldn't hear me because I was sitting way back there and the camera was kind of like way forward here. So it was a complete fucking disaster. So I am not putting everything back together. I'm sorry for you guys, because I also was thinking, to me and for me, I know this sounds weird, but that's not really what Halloween is, because I live in South Africa. And that's what I want to tell you about today, is a little bit about Halloween in South Africa. I'm sure that will interest you more than like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite Halloween tarot deck and blah, blah. We've all done that. I want to tell you how we celebrate or don't celebrate Halloween in South Africa. So first of all, South Africa is a country that has 11 official languages. It's insane. We've got the most official languages in the whole world for a country. That tells you how many different nationalities we have living here. And most of them don't believe in Halloween. A lot of them don't even know what Halloween is. So for us, it's very difficult to get a country excited and together the way that the USA does. And I'm picking on you, America, because more than 50% of my subscribers and the people who watch this channel are American, which is fantastic. Thank you. I love you. But you guys, as most American things are, it's big, it's brash, it's colorful, it's just larger than life. That's America, and that's how you guys celebrate Halloween, which is so fucking amazing. But in South Africa, we don't do that because we are so many different cultures who are not exposed to that. Secondly, you guys are going into what we call autumn. I think my British people, you guys also call it autumn, but in America you call it fall. It's where all the golden leaves are on the ground. And yes, I have seen Halloween. Okay, and it's nice and chilly by you. It's going into winter time. In South Africa, we are almost in the middle of summer. It's fucking hot here. Not only is it hot, it is massively humid in the city that I stay in because we're right on the coast. Think Florida's humidity, and then dial it up like 50%, okay? That's what Durban is like. So no, getting dressed up in costumes is just the most, wow, it's uncomfortable, man. It is so uncomfortable. I'm sitting here in my reading room, and I have got my window open and I'm looking outside. It's a gorgeous day. It's 32 degrees Celsius out there, but with like a 92% humidity count. So it is cuck hot here, okay? Which is another reason we don't really celebrate Halloween in South Africa. The only thing that we do is we might, within the sort of typical white suburbs, okay? There's no actual separation anymore, but your historically white areas, okay? We would go out and we would buy sort of Halloween decorations from one or two of the stores that sell them. We put them up on our lawns and things. But it's not like in America, everybody in the neighborhood is doing it. It might be a house here and a house there, if at all. One of the things as well that we don't do in South Africa is trick-or-treating. Now, I know with COVID, even in America, you guys have had to come up with a whole lot of alternative plans. I was watching CNN on YouTube the other day, in fact, yesterday, and it was a very interesting segment where they were saying that Halloween has been, I know a lot of the parades have been cancelled in America, and the whole concept of trick-or-treating has had to be rethought out, and it has had to be changed. So in South Africa, we're quite lucky because we've never really been big into that. Where that does happen is within our gated communities. So in the area that I live in, it's a very odd area. On the one side, we've got absolute abject poverty, which I can see from my window, and then on my side, there's like really, really nice houses and that sort of thing. And then also just down the road, we have a very rich, it's the Lani. In South Africa, we call them the Lanis. They're like the very rich people. It's an area called Umhlanga. And those people live in these beautiful gated communities with rolling lawns, and each unit is it looks like it's a separate little house, and lots of money going down there. those sort of gated communities, the gated areas, they will have a trick or treat for the children that live within that development. So they will go trick or treating within that community, okay? And mom and dad will take them around, and that's fine. They do like the typical white frickin' Halloween, you know. But normally, it just for normal people like you and me, like people who are just normal blue collar workers, we don't do that in South Africa because of the crime rate here, and also because of just, it's not in our culture to do that. We're an incredibly friendly nation, but we're not a nation to go and knock on somebody's door and say, hey bud, how's about a Snickers bar? You know, even if it is for the lighty, the little one. It's not in our culture to do that. Of course, in the really poor areas, in the locations and the townships and the shacklands, this just doesn't exist. You know, these are people who are trying to literally put food on the table. And now when I say literally, I mean sometimes they don't have food at all. So for them, Halloween is like an enigma. They don't understand how people can go out and do this, how people can spend money on an outfit that they're only going to wear like once, you know. It's just mind-boggling to these people. And so we don't really have a Halloween culture here. As far as, that's kind of the commercialized Halloween. We don't really do it. And I must say the one thing we don't have as well, and I have to mention this, is pumpkin spice. Dave Morgan, I'm looking directly at you because you love this stuff. It's revolting. I've had it once. The only place you can get pumpkin spice here is probably a pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks. And that's because Starbucks is an American-owned company and you guys have infiltrated the whole world. So we have a couple of Starbucks here. Coffee's crap. But anyway, they do a pumpkin spice latte, whereas in America, I know you guys do pumpkin spice everything. I even heard of, on, I think it was Facebook or something, they were showing that you get pumpkin spice bath bombs. What the hell is wrong with you people? Like, seriously. Okay, but that's also something we don't get in South Africa, is pumpkin spice stuff. So that's kind of like the commercial Halloween. When it comes to actual Halloween, what it means religiously and to pagans and to witches and to those who are into the whole sort of spiritual side of Halloween, there isn't really a huge kind of, there's not a huge community that does this, but there are individuals, there are covens in South Africa, of course there are, and there are groups of people who would celebrate the pagan way and actually take this very seriously. That does happen. Again, not on a large scale, but it definitely does happen. And I have a few people that I know that take this very seriously when the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest, and the communication between our world and the afterlife or the next world or the other vibrational plane or whatever you believe it is at its peak, where you can actually communicate really clearly across that boundary. There are many people in this country who actually believe it, and not only white people. We have a lot of African, there's a lot, obviously we're Africa, we're part of Africa, so there are a lot of African people here. In fact, they are the majority, obviously. And they have their own beliefs and they have their own spiritual ways of connecting and communicating, and a lot of those sangomas and witch doctors and healers have an affinity with this time of the year. As we are going into summer now, you guys are going into winter, we are going into summer because we're the southern hemisphere, you're the northern hemisphere. But this time of the year, no matter whether you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, it doesn't matter. It's still the time of the year. It's the 31st of October, and it's that time of the year when things are in flux. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if the sun is shining or if the moon is shining, if it's 32 degrees Celsius outside or minus 4 degrees Celsius outside. The energy shift in the world is happening now, and our traditional healers and our traditional people are aware of the energies that are shifting. They don't call it Halloween, okay? They don't know about All Hallows Eve and all that kind of stuff and the history of Halloween. But they too, at this time of the year, get their magic together, start practicing their magic, start practicing their healing, get in contact with the ancestors, because that's a huge thing in African magic, is the ancestors, because the ancestors are everything. They are the ones that call you. They are the ones that protect you. They are the ones that are there for you. Okay, they're the ones that come and meet you to take your soul across to the other side. This is all African belief. And it might be Halloween. They might not believe in Halloween or even know what it is. But let me tell you something. Within the next week, within this week, the energies have shifted, and those people even feel it. And they are now also getting their shit together, if you know what I mean. Okay, like all the Wiccans are getting their shit together. All the kind of pagans are going, yeah, let's light bonfires and shit like that. These people are doing exactly the same thing. It might not be Halloween to them, but it's certainly that time of the year when their magic and their spiritual practice is at its highest. So that is really Halloween in South Africa. It's great. It's awesome. Many of us do celebrate it. I don't celebrate it. I don't have children in my neighborhood, so I don't really hand out sweeties. I love Halloween because I get to watch my favorite horror movies over and over again. I get to read my favorite Halloween book, which is the Lady in Black, Woman in Black, The Woman in Black. Okay, it's called The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. I get to just jowl around, mess about with stuff that I wouldn't do during the year. You know, like my darker tarot decks, and maybe haul out the Musilia Oracle deck and just look through it and that sort of thing. It's not the same in my country as what it is in yours. I think every country is different, but in South Africa, it's not a big deal, okay? I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope you found that interesting, you know, because I know that a lot of people, especially my American friends and my American viewers, you seem to, I'm not saying you seem to, but many of you take Halloween as a given. You think like, oh my gosh, the whole world celebrates this. It's Halloween, yay. You know, the world is dressing up. The world's wearing masks, blah, blah, blah. No, we're not. We're not big like America, okay? A lot of countries just don't do this. And I know it must be quite strange for you to hear that. And strange for you to hear what actually happens here in my country, where it's just not a big deal. Tell me what you think. Do you think South Africa is a country that's kind of got it right, or do you think we should start becoming more American? And leave comments below if we should be becoming more American and kind of step out of our comfort zone and start doing Halloween and embracing it on a more commercial, on a more commercial way. In a more commercial way, do you think we should do this? Do you think we should start leaving our traditional things aside and start getting into the whole spirit of pumpkin spice and plastic skeletons? Leave your comments, or what I'd really like to know is how you, yes you, Martha, celebrate Halloween in your town or your city. Okay, please let me know. Yes, write me paragraphs. I love reading your stuff, guys. Come on, I want to know all about it. Okay, I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot, and I'll see you next Tuesday for some more 10 Talk. Love you guys. Bye.